Hey Leute und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video von mir. Heute reagiere ich wieder auf Setup Wars. Beim letzten Mal fand ich das schon echt heftig, da waren echt nice Setups dabei. Heute machen wir genau das gleiche. Es gibt ja mittlerweile 253 verschiedene Setup Wars Videos und das ist schon echt heftig. Für die Leute, die sich gefragt haben, warum ich die letzten paar Tage weg war. Ja gut, wahrscheinlich wird es keiner sein, ich sag's einfach trotzdem. Ich war krank. Ich hatte tatsächlich Fieber, 2 Tage lang. Am dritten Tag hat sich dann wieder ein bisschen beruhigt, aber da hatte ich extrem beschissenen Husten. Und mittlerweile habe ich zwar immer noch Husten und ein bisschen Schnupfen, aber nicht mehr so extrem schlimm. Darum mache ich jetzt auch Videos. Ich lag jetzt ein paar Tage flach, aber jetzt geht's auch direkt weiter. Also wie gesagt, ich reacte heute auf ein neues Setup War Video. Das hier schaut ganz nice aus. Hier? Ja. Ich glaube, wir gehen hier rein. Also, rein in die Reaction.
What's happening, guys? I'm Tech Source. Welcome to Setup Wars episode 228, the show where we show off some of the best and most creative setups in the world. If you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. Make sure to watch the video link down below. But with that said, sit back, relax, because it's time for Setup Wars.
Das schaut nice aus. Digga, ist halt einfach ein Intro, was man in Deutschland, oder so, bei uns zumindest, nicht mehr sieht. Okay, das war jetzt die Werbung, die überspringe ich mal.
Kicking off the episode is Bodar from Hungary and his awesome custom gaming setup. He stated in the notes that he doesn't really have a purpose for the setup, rather it's more of a hobby. He loves to upgrade it from time to time,
nice
but
aus.
when he's not upgrading it, he uses it for gaming and
Alter, wie geil, den gleichen Monitor habe ich glaube auch. Der ist auch curved. Ich glaube, ich habe genau den gleichen. Nice.
media consumption. He's using a 60-inch IKEA aluminum tabletop that holds up all 3 of his displays. We got a 24-inch from Acer on the left side for multitasking, while the main...
Ja, ist einfach genau der gleiche Bildschirm, den ich auch habe. Was mich gerade ein bisschen triggert, ist, dass dieser Bildschirm dicker ist so, als der hier. Und der ist auch weiß, der hier ist silber und der ist schwarz. Außerdem ist der hier nicht in der gleichen Position, so wie der hier. Aber nichtsdestotrotz, wenn man 3 Bildschirme hat, ist es natürlich schon echt heftig.
main monitor is a 24-inch from AOC. Sadly, the vertical monitor doesn't work, but he's working on fixing that. I like how he used the game over light sign to cover the monitor mount in the middle. For peripherals, Bodar is rocking a Red Dragon Karura 2 keyboard paired with the Yankee gaming mouse. And for audio, he's got an SPC SM900 microphone hooked up to a boom arm with a couple of floor speakers and a Logitech G332 headset.
Ja, sowas ist natürlich auch nice, wenn man hier Boxen hat. Das sind sogar etwas größere Boxen. Ich habe momentan gar keine Boxen. Ich habe ganz normale Kopfhörer. Und das war's eigentlich auch. Also vielleicht sollte ich mir auch mal den Gedanken machen, mir Boxen zu holen.
I think the way he combined both of the wall shelves was pretty clever, adding one on each side to stay symmetrical and a longer single shelf in the middle as a bridge between them. This is not only a creative way to add a bit of personalization, but it also offers tons of extra space for storage without crowding the desk itself. That, in combination with the cool wall decoration, amplifies the setup's presentation. Cables seem to be managed pretty good thanks to the IKEA Signum rack, and it looks like even his doggo approves. Finally powering the setup is a gaming PC featuring the i5-10600K and the Nvidia RTX 2080 Ti.
Sick. Die 2080 hatte. Momentan gehen ja wieder die Grafikkartenpreise nach unten. Ich schaue natürlich immer noch nach einem PC mit einer 3070 drin. Aber wenn ich mir jetzt so eine 3070 kaufen möchte, müsste ich momentan immer noch 900 € ausgeben. Nee, das ist mir ehrlich gesagt immer noch ein bisschen zu viel. Ich warte lieber noch.
Can't really tell if this is a pre-built or if it's custom made, but that case looks pretty sweet. I've actually never seen that before. There's definitely a lot of work that still needs to be done in this setup, and that's a good thing considering it is your hobby to upgrade. That should definitely keep you busy for a while. Thank you, Bodar, for entering. Up next is Chong and his super clean setup that took him nearly 4 years to build. He's a content creator from Arizona that uses the setup for gaming and video editing. I just gotta start off and say that I'm loving the presentation already. He kept everything perfectly balanced with those wall-mounted lightsabers as a centerpiece, which looks so badass at night. He built that setup on that super wide 98-inch camera.
Ich find's halt echt nice, wenn der Tisch so extrem groß ist. Ich finde, es hat etwas, weil man hat mega viele Möglichkeiten, da Sachen hinzustellen. Ich meine, schau's dir an, der hat da auf einmal noch ein Auto rumstehen, so komplett random, einfach ein Auto. Diese Laserschwerte finde ich geil, extrem sympathisch, man. Star Wars ist einfach geil.
Countertop with a few Alex Yours for support. He definitely has all the space to do whatever he wants, as well as feature upgradability. He does everything on a single 34-inch ultra-wide monitor from Alienware that he mounted to the desk. And for peripherals, he's using the wireless Basilisk Ultimate Gaming Mouse and a sweet drop-out laser keyboard with Mito laser keycaps. By the way, I love the Darth Vader artisan keycap you added in the corner. Definitely complements the lightsabers you have on the wall. And of course, I gotta appreciate the amazing cable work from the key and mouse pad. Adding a small black raceway to hide the wires was a subtle yet very effective way on managing those cables without having to mod your desk. In fact, that is the main method for Chong's cable management, the super thin cable raceway that he uses to channel all the wires from one side of the desk to the other, using nothing but Velcro straps to keep them under the desk. A very unusual way of doing that, but still very effective.
Schaut clean aus, ja?
For audio, he does have a nice selection.
Digga, das ist jetzt das Ding. So ein großer Monitor. Also im Grunde ist ja dieser Monitor 2 Monitore, so gesehen. Man könnte ihn ja in der Hälfte teilen, wenn man zum Beispiel einen Stream anschauen möchte und nebenbei hat man, keine Ahnung, irgendwas anderes offen oder so. Aber auch zocken könnte ich mir da mega entspannt vorstellen. Aber ich glaube, von der Größe her wäre das dann auch das Maximum, worauf ich zocken würde. Größer wäre, glaube ich, ein bisschen blöd für mich.
Of gear. We got the Bose Companion 3 speakers for mostly consuming media, but he also has 2 sets of headphones hanging underneath the desk. The Sennheiser Game 1 for gaming and the HDs for editing videos.
Okay.
The PC powering this epic setup is a custom black and red build inside the Phanteks Evolve X case. It's equipped with an i9 7960X and a GTX 1080 Ti. However, he is planning on picking up an RTX 3090 to add to his custom loop later down the line. You know, I've seen a lot of setups on the show that also...
Digga, hier nochmal direkt sympathisch, einfach hier 2 Star Wars Lego-Schiffe. Macht die ganze Sache natürlich echt nice.
Also have collectibles, but don't really spend the time to organize them or display them properly. But Chong over here went the extra mile. There's just something so satisfying about the way he organized all of his figurines and collectibles. Take the car models for example. Look how they all fit perfectly in that TV stand using the correct size glass boxes. Really great use of space, and you can definitely tell there was some planning involved. Such an awesome setup, Chong. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, and I can't wait to see your new PC build. Up next is Hamad and his stunning, one-of-a-kind epic gaming studio. He didn't really specify what he does for a living other than being a businessman, but he is from a small town called Manama on Bahrain, I hope I'm saying that correctly, which is really close to Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So Hamad actually has a bit of a story behind this setup. His original setup got burned down back in April 28th, which nearly took his life. His air conditioning unit exploded while he was asleep, but thankfully he woke up from the noise and rushed to the roof of his home, where he was later saved. But sadly, the fire destroyed his entire studio and pretty much half of his home. The most important thing here is that he was safe. I always say that you can replace your things, but you can't replace your life. Hamad always dreamed about having a nice setup in that...
Also, sorry, aber das ist halt echt nice. Hier alles schön in weiß gehalten. Die Kabel sieht man ja auch fast gar nicht. Und wenn man sie sieht, ja, hier halt ein bisschen. Die sind halt alle weiß. Der ist hier so ein bisschen versteckt. Also, alles nice eigentlich. PC schaut sexy aus mit der RGB-Beleuchtung. Ist auf jeden Fall geil.
That fire didn't stop him from achieving that goal. He started to slowly rebuild his studio into what it is today. What made me really happy is that he told me through DMs that my show was what inspired him to build a setup in the first place. And that's really awesome to hear. One of the things that drew my attention to the studio is...
Alter, Digga. Hier zocken. Alter, wie nice. Hier so... Oh, okay, Flex. PS5 sogar. Geil, hier einfach noch ein paar Helme. Sehr nices Zimmer.
All the custom work he has put
das sehe ich erst jetzt. Die Beleuchtung, die Deckenbeleuchtung ist sogar mega nice. Holy shit.
Into everything. The first things that caught my attention were the custom ceiling lights he installed and that massive white acoustic panels with built-in RGB.
Wie geil.
At this point, my curiosity has definitely peaked, but let's backtrack a little bit and start off with his main battle station. This is how much of a baller Hamad really is. So check this out. He's rocking 3 desks. A smaller one tucked underneath a larger one, and a corner desk on the side holding up his third monitor and custom PC. He's rocking the beautiful Samsung Odyssey G9, a 49-inch super ultra-wide monitor in the center that's sandwiched by a 34-inch ultra-wide and a 27-inch 240Hz Alienware monitor for multitasking.
Aber Digga, ey, ich glaube, das wäre mir schon ein bisschen zu groß. Ich glaube, so fürs Schneiden von Videos mega nice, aber fürs Zocken wäre es mir, glaube ich, ein bisschen zu groß.
Why wouldn't you want a 240Hz monitor for browsing the web? I mean, sure, he has an Xbox One hooked up to the monitor as well, but it's still overkill considering it won't be able to take advantage of anything over 120 Hz. For peripherals, he's rocking 2 sets of keyboard and mice. We got the Razer Huntsman Mini in white on the top and the Logitech G915 TKL Keyb on the bottom, sandwiched by the Razer Tartarus keypad.
Digga, so hier. Ja, krass.
And the Logitech G203 Prodigy gaming mouse. Moving on to audio, he's using 2 sets of JBL Pulse 4 speakers to add a bit of RGB in the setup, but he does own a few pair of headsets for gaming. The AKG K702s hanging from the desk and the Corsair Virtuosos sitting on top of the custom PC.
Alter, der PC. Schaut euch den PC mal an. Alles mit RGB-Beleuchtung. Holy shit. Das ist auf jeden Fall nice. Das ist echt nice.
PC. Hamad also makes YouTube videos and streams, hence why he's rocking some streaming gear as well. We got a few Elgato key lights, a couple of microphones, one of which is the Shure SM7B attached to a boom arm, and the Elgato Stream Deck Mini. Considering this is an island style setup, he did a pretty good job with the cable management, using a bunch of spiral sleeves to hide the wires in the back. This entire setup is being powered by his custom gaming PC that's equipped with the Asus RTX 20
GeForce RTX 2080 Ti 011G. Okay, auch noch nie gehört.
Ti and the Ryzen Threadripper 3960X, which is a 24-core, 48-thread processor. Damn, that is a beast. Right beside his setup is a tiny racing sim setup hooked up to a 32-inch 4K monitor, and then we have his entertainment area on the opposite side of the room, where he kicks back to watch movies and games on his console. I gotta give this man some respect for managing to snag a PS5. I'm actually super jealous. That's like the only thing missing in my life right now. He's got quite the collection of figurines as well, but what I like most about this section of his room is the
Ich finde es ehrlich gesagt ein bisschen vollgestellt. Auf der anderen Seite, jede Figur, die da ist halt irgendwie heftig. Ja, keine Ahnung, irgendwie bin ich da ein bisschen zwiegespalten. Aber wäre mir persönlich ein bisschen zu voll.
Way he aligned the wall shelves with the nanoleaf panels. This entire room is honestly like a playground for any kid or grown-up for that matter. Tons of fun things to do to pass time. I would without a doubt dub this the ultimate gamer's paradise.
Ja.
The fact that Hamad didn't let a fire get in the way of building his dream setup just shows his dedication and passion for gaming, and for that reason alone, I have mad respect for the guy.
Ja.
Shifting gears a bit, we have a setup more on the simplistic side by Matthew.
Aus der Schweiz, Digga.
He's an aircraft mechanic from Switzerland that uses the setup for gaming and streaming. The setup is built on top of 3 Alex units and 2...
Also warte mal kurz, ein riesen Fernseher hat er da oben, dann noch ein riesen Bildschirm, einfach heftig. Und schaut euch den PC an, der ist doppelt so groß wie mein Monitor, Digga. Der ist ja riesig.
Custom wooden countertops that he stained and lacquered, which offers a nice contrast between the white and green color scheme.
Schaut echt clean
aus.
I
just love how the Matrix wallpaper spills from the top 65-inch TV onto the bottom 49-inch super ultra-wide from Samsung. I also like that you use wall raceways to cover the cables going down, but in all honesty, you could have used just one slightly bigger raceway to cover all the cables instead of going with 2. The rest of the cables under the desk are managed perfectly. Excellent use of raceways to channel and hide all the wires going across the desk. For peripherals, Matthew stuck with mostly Razer gear, which...
Lol, Digga, sogar ein Untersetzer fürs Getränk. Aber ich weiß nicht, wie ich dazu stehen soll. Die habe ich irgendwie noch nie so wirklich gefeiert.
I guess is fitting considering the color scheme. We got the Razer Huntsman Elite keyboard paired with the Tartarus Pro keypad and a wireless Basilisk Ultimate Gaming.
Digga, das muss doch alles so teuer gewesen sein. Der hat hier alles von Razer. Das muss so teuer gewesen sein, ey. Oder auch insgesamt, das Setup, das ist einfach teuer.
The setup doesn't have any speakers, but he does use 2 sets of gaming headsets from Razer, of course. One for his desktop PC and the other for his Razer laptop. The main desktop setup is being powered by his behemoth of a system inside the...
Aber auch eine 2080. Damals war ja die 2080 die beste Grafikkarte überhaupt. Aber jetzt mittlerweile gibt es doch viel bessere Grafikkarten. Und klar, wenn man sich's leisten kann, würde ich mir auf jeden Fall eine bessere Grafikkarte holen. Aber klar, so gesehen, die Grafikkarte ist schon heftig so. Ja, keine Ahnung, ich sehe immer 2080, 2070 auch. Aber es gibt ja mittlerweile so die 3070, 3080 und so.
The Corsair Obsidian 1000D case. It's running on a 9900K
Schaut
with
echt geil
32
aus.
gigs of RAM and the MSI RTX 2080 Ti in a custom loop.
Der schaut einfach aus, als hätte er hier irgendwie Gift oder so durch die Wasserkühlung pumpen lässt.
At first I thought he was running 2 separate loops when I saw both the reservoirs, but he actually has them in a single loop instead.
Schaut trotzdem cool aus.
I love that Matthew still found a way to include nanoleaf panels in his setup. Even though both walls were occupied, he was smart enough to pick up the corner adapters and still make it work. Well done on a beautiful setup and thank you for entering.
Ja, schaut
Wrapping
nice
up
aus.
the episode is Nathan from Arkansas and his beautiful TIE Fighter gaming setup. He's an IT tech support that spent his...
Ich glaube, das hier in der Mitte wird mich stören. Ja, keine Ahnung, wird mich ein bisschen stören. Aber schaut geil aus. Hier einfach ein Plattenspieler. Schaut echt chillig aus. Ich glaube, hier würde ich mit dem Araben da am liebsten zocken wollen. Weil es hier irgendwie einfach, ja, es schaut hier einfach nice aus. Oder halt, wie gesagt, in diesem riesen Zockerzimmer. Das fand ich auch ganz nice.
free time relaxing in this oasis that he built himself. You guys probably don't remember this, but he was actually in episode 152 back in October 2018.
Digga, der PC. Digga, das ist einfach ein ganzer Kühlschrank hier einfach.
He was the one rocking the Glass Island setup. After 2 years and 4 iterations later, we are presented with this masterpiece.
Schaut cool aus. Aber auch hier wieder. Ist halt eben hier so was Ägyptisches. Oder insgesamt hat ja alles so einen ägyptischen Look. Hier auch Gold und so. Ja, warum nicht?
Mythology-themed TIE Fighter gaming setup. A sentence I never thought I would ever say. He's rocking a single 49-inch super ultra-wide that's being sandwiched by dual 32-inch monitors in vertical mode. Nathan's monitor layout is perfect because if you're gonna use a 49-inch ultra-wide as your main, the only option for secondary displays is in vertical mode, just like what Nathan did. Because if you flip those two outer displays horizontally, then it would just be too wide, making them completely useless. Another option is to stack one of the monitors on the top, but either way, you have to go vertical for any additional monitors you add on the side. The desk he's using for the setup is a 98-inch bar Kubota countertop from IKEA that's being raised by a few capital legs attached to a couple Alex drawers. For peripherals, he's using a Varmillo Panda keyboard and a Logitech
Alter, das ist süß. Einfach ein Panda.
G602 mouse with a matching Varmillo Panda mousepad, looking very clean. Now, since the main display is mounted against the wall, he's able to use the space below to store some of his audio gear. But can we take a moment and acknowledge that microphone boom arm placement? He's got that beautifully tucked away underneath the monitor when he's not using it. I might have to steal that
Ja, warum nicht? Schön eingeklappt unterm Monitor. Perfekter Platz.
idea for a future setup upgrade. Cables are managed perfectly thanks to the giant power strip he mounted underneath the desk and a few cable sleeves to wrap it all together. Bonus points for also using a painted wall raceway to cover the cables for your nanoleaf panels. And finally, wrapping up with his awesome custom water-cooled system equipped with the 9900K and the EVGA RTX 2080 Super. It's insane to see so much progression from the original setup 2 years ago. You definitely made some huge improvements before, and I'm absolutely loving the new direction of your setup.
Ja,
it's
schaut
well
cool aus.
thought out and perfectly executed with a bit of personality to separate it from the rest. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing this with us, and it's always a pleasure to have you back on the show. And that wraps up today's episode. As always, let me know in the comment section down below which of these setups was your absolute favorite.
Ja.
And feel
Ich glaube, also das hier fand ich nice. Das sah echt angenehm aus. Klar, das hier in der Mitte, verdammt geil. Würde ich sofort haben wollen. Was mich ein bisschen triggert, ist, dass es eben 3 Tische sind. Also 2 okay. Das hier finde ich ein bisschen komisch. Aber an sich ist es echt nice. Wäre mir aber ehrlich gesagt auch ein bisschen zu groß. Aber klar, ist halt so ein Traum von jedem Zocker. Das heißt, ich würde mich dann entweder für den hier oben entscheiden oder für den hier. Weil beide Setups waren echt geil. Klar, die anderen beiden auch nice. Aber ich glaube, für die hier beiden würde ich mich entscheiden. Ja, das war's dann auch schon von der Reaction. Ich hoffe, euch hat's gefallen. Ihr könnt ja gerne mal in die Kommentare schreiben, welches Setup ihr genommen hättet. Und ja, vielen Dank fürs Zusehen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, bye.